Hello everyone, and welcome to this new video tutorial for Maverick Render. In this video, we will introduce you to some new features in our Move tool that will simplify the task of placing objects in your scenes. We will use our default example scene, which will allow us to give some hints about scene organization as well. Let's create a group with the teapot parts, which come detached. This way the teapot will be interpreted as a single entity in Maverick. To this end, we will use the marquee selection on the IPR, and then the Create Group button, or alternatively the shortcut Ctrl-G. We can rename the newly created group easily by clicking its name. Now let's start the Move tool with the shortcut Q. We have added some new actions in the Tools pane to easily perform frequent operations, such as 90-degree rotations or flips. Let's see how these work real quick. The most remarkable new feature in the Move tool is what we call Surface Mode. When in Surface Mode, you can move an object on top of another as you would in the real world. This provides a very natural workflow to place contacting objects, which is otherwise very tedious to do. Let's go ahead and add a cylinder from the Objects library. Let's select the teapot group and use the shortcut S to enable Surface Mode. As you can see now, the teapot slides and reorients on top of the cylinder. Let's create now a plane from the Objects library. We select the plane and use the shortcut E to rotate it. Let's rotate it -90 degrees about the x-axis so it ends up being vertical. If we use Surface Mode now, we will see how the plane stays parallel to the floor, which may not be what we want. This happens because the z-axis of the plane is perpendicular to the plane by default, and Surface Mode uses the z-axis for alignment. To change this, we must go back to the plane and then reset its x-form. This makes the plane axes consolidate to their new orientation. Now Surface Mode works as expected, placing the plane at its center. Surface Mode anchors the moving object by its x-form pivot position and orientation. We may want to change the position of the x-form relative to the plane. For example, let's send the x-form pivot to the bottom of the plane. The new x-form position is used, instead of the object's center. Camera alignment actions may come handy as well. Let's take a look at a couple of real examples now. Let's open our Blender sample scene. We enable Clay Render and enable the ultrafast render mode. Let's step backwards and disable depth of field. Now let's select the bowl and move it with Surface Mode enabled. As explained earlier, we can use the shortcut S to enable the Surface Mode. Like before, the bowl is anchored at its center, so we may want to send the x-form pivot to the bottom of the object. Once we've done so, we can also switch the coordinate space from world to local and rotate the object about its z-axis. For a second example, we will pick this other scene which we used in another video tutorial. Let's take a look at the organization of the scene. The wall is a separate object, and then the rest of the scene is placed into a general group with one subgroup per material. We will change this organization by creating one group per bottle, which may be more convenient for object placement. We select the objects in the IPR, create 3 groups, and rename them one by one. Once we're done, we will delete the other groups using the Delete Node and Children action. Now we will select the first group we created and use the shortcut S to enable surface mode. We may want to place the X-form pivot at the bottom of the object like we did before. And now we repeat the same operation with the other bottles. As you can see, the new surface mode provides a very comfortable and natural way to place objects in your scene. This is all for now. See you in the next video. Have fun rendering with Maverick.